experience.
But you have to be able to call out shit that's wrong on your side. And this is one of the problems that the Democratic Party's having right now with this Joe Biden guy. You guys got to be able to call it out. You can't let this slide because everybody else sees it, and Trump is going to eat him alive. He's going to eat that guy alive. The guy can barely remember what he's talking about while he's talking.
Do you know which one it was? Because there's a few videos.
Who did Joe Rogan vote for in the presidential election? I'm going to give you my 2 cents on it. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Do me a favor before I get started here. You can tell, just getting started out on YouTube. I got 20 subscribers. I know it's not a lot. But listen, starting at 0, everyone's going to start somewhere. Starting at 0 to 20, it's been a huge accomplishment for me. My next goal is hitting 100 by Christmas. You guys hit the subscribe button. Help me out a little bit to grow my channel. I got a lot to talk about. As you can tell, the world has done upside down. All right? Everything's gone crazy. Seems like left is right, up is down. You don't know if what people are saying is true or false. You clearly can't trust mainstream media. Social media is all over the map. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you guys straight common sense, truth, facts, logic. We're not going to get caught up in our feelings. We're not going to look for little safe spaces here. It's just going to be truth, logic, fact, shooting from the hip, calling a spade a spade. That's how I'm going to bring it to you guys, all right? So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that notification bell so you know when I make a new video. Join me on this journey. Let's get into it. Joe Rogan. All right. As you can see, Joe Rogan said in many, many, many podcasts that I've seen, I'm a fan of Joe Rogan. I like watching his podcast. I love how he has all kinds of different people on there. I know people, he gets a lot of criticism from people, but, that you're always going to have haters no matter what. Joe Rogan has said many a times that I've watched his podcast that he feels Joe Biden is in some serious cognitive decline. His mental health is just not there, and it baffles you. Watch Joe Rogan talk about it, like he said in the clip. You watch Joe Rogan talk about that. He cannot understand for the life of him how the Democratic Party put this guy as the front runner for the president of the United States to run the greatest country in the world, and he's losing his goddamn mind. Anybody with a half a brain can see it. You watch this guy give a couple speeches, and he's all over the map. Just like Joe said, he can't remember what the hell he said. Can't remember what his name is. Doesn't remember if he's running for president. Thinks he's running for Congress or Senate. It's sad. It's really sad. In my opinion, I think it's some kind of elder abuse. They got to pull this guy out of there. It's just sad. It's a little late now, but there was a lot of other instances where Joe Rogan. So Joe Rogan is a Bernie bro. He was a big fan of Bernie Sanders, I guess. I don't know a lot about Bernie except that he likes socialism, and they say he's communist, Bolshevik Bernie. I don't know. I don't know a lot about Bernie Sanders. If that's the case, I don't agree with it. But the whole socialist communist thing. But I don't know. Whatever. I don't care about Bernie Sanders. But Joe Rogan had him on the podcast. He was a fan of Bernie Sanders. He most likely would have voted for Bernie Sanders. Bernie, beat Biden out in the race. But between these two, there are a lot of clips to suggest that Joe Rogan voted Republican, voted for Donald Trump. As I said, many clips where he was just horrified by the cognitive decline of Joe Biden. I think also the fact that he wanted to host debates. Donald Trump said, let's do it. Set it up. Whatever he tweeted out. Nothing from Joe Biden's campaign. Crickets. So Joe Rogan was like, yeah, let's get a debate. I'll sit him down here. We'll sit him down here. If one of them, if Joe Biden says, we're not going to ban fracking. And then Joe Rogan asks him, yeah, we are going to ban fracking. Rogan's going to say, well, listen. You've said you were going to ban fracking this time. You said you weren't going to that time. Let's get the answers here. We can have Jamie, pull it up. Pull it up where Joe Biden said he wasn't going to ban fracking 4 times, and then he said he was going to ban it 6 other times. Then pull it up and you let him answer for himself. So I think Joe Rogan kind of respected the fact that Trump said, yeah, let's do it. And crickets from the Biden campaign, nothing. So I think that was another thing that kind of leaned Joe Rogan to Trump, was like, okay, well, if this guy's going to come on here, sit down for 4 hours and have a debate, he obviously doesn't mind with the complete transparency and getting everything out there. So I think that was a big sticking point for Joe Rogan to lean towards Trump. In his latest podcast over like the past month, he also showed so much disgust for like the BLM and Antifa violence that was going on. He showed so much disgust for how the mainstream media wasn't just clearly wasn't covering any of these huge things that were going on. The thing with Hunter Biden's laptop. There was nothing in the mainstream media. And, you know, they try to tweet it out, the news article, and Twitter zaps that. And, Joe Rogan was just disgusted at how the mainstream media, social media, the Democratic Party would just try to bury things, hide the truth. And, you could see it. And if you're a frequent podcast watcher of Joe Rogan, you could see that the Democratic Party and the radical left, and he was pretty disgusted by everything that was going on. Yeah, I mean, I could tell a few months before the election that he was most likely going to throw his vote in for Trump.
Mystery now because I said that I wouldn't vote for Biden. That I said I would vote for Trump over Biden. All these people went crazy. But let me be clear. You know what? I'd also vote for Whoopi Goldberg over Joe Biden. I'd vote for Mike Tyson over Joe Biden. I just don't think it's a good idea to take someone who's struggling with dementia and put him in one of the most stressful positions the world has ever known. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's not an endorsement of Trump. It is me saying you shouldn't have a man who's clearly in the throes of dementia. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but when you can't form sentences in public and you forget what you're talking about and you wander off into these conversations, if you're not smoking pot, you're not high, if you're not on pills, like what's going on? Well, there's cognitive decline.
Once again, Joe Rogan says this isn't an endorsement of Trump. Well, yeah, Joe, it kind of is, because when you say you would vote for Trump over Biden, but you would vote there's nobody else running. All right, so, and just watch when Joe Rogan's talking about it. In his recent episodes, he's talking about how BLM and Antifa are running wild in the streets, and these democratic cities are turning into just dumpster fires, and how the mainstream media is clearly covering up for the Democratic Party. Social media will ban all these conservatives and Republicans. They won't touch any of the liberals or Democrats. Joe Rogan knows all this. He's a smart guy. And that's kind of what happened to me. Once I started seeing what the hell was really going on, once you really start to notice that stuff, you really start veering away from the left pretty far, because that's not a good life to live. It's all dishonesty, manipulation, gaslighting, just blatant lying, corruption. That's not a good way to live life. Joe Rogan's a decent guy. He's a good guy. So, noticing all that, he may not be a big fan of Trump. There's a lot of people that aren't big fans of Trump, who is as a person, but his policies, bringing the troops home, staying out of wars, ending critical race theory. His record with the economy was great until the Kung flu hit. So, I mean, when you look at all the factors and what Joe Rogan has said, it's fairly clear that, he left California, a Democratic shithole, to move down to Texas. So you can form your own opinions. I'm leaning towards 99.9% that Joe Rogan voted for Donald Trump.
Elizabeth Warren shows her true colors. She does a right-wing sexist smear on Bernie Sanders is what's happening.
That was weird.
This is what a crazy thing to do.
It was a fake smear. Like, nobody's buying that.
So it was her, the media, and the DNC got together, and they're like, hey, let's do this. Because it was coordinated. This didn't come out of nowhere.
Right.
And the CNN, did you see that story? CNN wrote these two people who heard it from these other two people who we're not even going to name.
And that's on CNN.
That's CNN. That's how they do it.
So crazy.
It's so crazy. Yes.
They're digging their own grave, though. What they're doing is they're making themselves less and less relevant, and they're making guys like you and independent people
That's right.
more and more relevant and more trustworthy.
And that's why they keep going to the catnip of Russiagate or Trump's tweets or whatever, impeachment and this phone call to the thing. And look how the media runs interference for the establishment. It's amazing. Like, to pretend that the Bidens aren't corrupt.
I know. Hilarious.
And to have people come on and go, that's a lie. That's no corruption. It's been looked into. There's no corruption that a guy has an $83,000 job on a board in a country his dad just helped overthrow. What are you, fucking crazy?
That seems like it might be a little corrupt. Well, the conversation where he tells the prosecutor that if he's not gone, you don't get the $1 billion.
Right.
What do you know? They fired the guy.
Right.
Like you saw that video.
So yeah, I saw that video, but their defense to that is they're saying, but that prosecutor was corrupt, and the next guy was even more tougher of an investigator. But that guy was investigating Burisma at the time.
Yeah.
And that guy did say later, that guy who got fired said, I got fired because I was investigating Burisma. He said that in a court document. So believe me, they're all why didn't they impeach Trump on the emoluments clause? Why didn't they do that? Why did they do it on this
What's
bullshit?
the emoluments clause?
So that's him benefiting off his position in government. It's because they all do it.
So there you have it. I mean, yeah, politicians are corrupt. No shocker there. Anyway, there was just way too many episodes. I could just play clip after clip where Joe Rogan says Biden's in cognitive decline. The Bidens are corrupt. Biden doesn't want to come on my podcast and have a debate. Trump does. And listen, like I said, Joe Rogan's a smart guy. He's a good guy. He's a decent guy. He's not going to vote for somebody that's fallen apart mentally, who is corrupt, who's, him and his family are corrupt. He talks about Kamala Harris putting all these innocent people in jail. He makes it pretty crystal clear that he's going to be voting for Trump. And I think he even said in one of his podcasts that his mother called him one time or something and was like, I heard you're a Trump supporter now. Because he did say at one point, he didn't, 100% back Trump and say I'm a Trump supporter or anything. But like he said in the clip, I'll vote for Trump before I vote for Joe Biden. And, I think once Joe Rogan looked into it, realized the policies and realized that, Joe Rogan knows that Trump's not some Klan leader that's holding Klan rallies when he's doing his rally. Rogan's not a friggin' idiot like that. So there you have it. Just thought I'd give you my 2 cents. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. I could be way off. I mean, been wrong before, and I'm not afraid to admit it. So if Joe Rogan ever tells us who he votes for and I was wrong, I will come on here and eat crow. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Help me grow my channel. I'll be forever grateful. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the notification bell so you get videos. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to your neighbors. Listen, tell the people close to you love them. The world's gone crazy. If you want to have a good life, just be honest. Just be a good person. Help other people out. And you're going to do pretty well. I guarantee you. All right. Till next time.